started. It's him. Really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome back to SRW. Tonight, it's round one for our new Formula 3 season, and we are pleased to bring you the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals starting here on SRW tonight. We start off proceedings at the home of the British GP, Silverstone, and it will take all of these drivers' concentration to produce a fast lap around here. It's Cow, your average sim racer, here together with Hamish Munro, and he's once again in front and behind the cameras talking with me on the comms as we get into what's going to be a bumper race. 35 cars out there, buddy. It's going to be awesome.
Mate, it is absolutely massive. I mean, what a fantastic way to start a new season of Formula 3s here. They've now taken over the Wednesday nights, ladies and gentlemen. No more are we double heading or quad heading with the TCRs. These nights are now specifically for Formula 3s. Shannon's coming on board to make this the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals. We started here at Silverstone, as you mentioned, and I mean, what a good track to start at. It is well known for Grand Prix racing all across the globe. I mean, it's one of the very first circuits where they had Grand Prix racing in Europe specifically. It's gone through a lot of changes in its life, Cowie, but in its most current form, it is an excellent race circuit that leads to incredible battles and even some spicy moments throughout its proceedings.
Right, it is going to be a belter, of course. For those of you who have been following us all year, you will know that we are running a sort of concurrent Formula 1 series for these F3 guys where they're actually following the real-life Formula 1 track. And, of course, we've got Silverstone GP coming up this weekend. So that's another reason why we're here, buddy. So it's a bit of a double points nights for some of these guys. Lots of new faces out there, though, and they're going to be looking to impress. So I can't wait to see the qualifying start, buddy, and we start to see these times smash their way down.
I mean, not just the new faces, though, but even the regular players. But I guess the big news that we found out tonight is that our AM champion from last season, Robbie Griffiths, is not returning to Formula 3. So he's actually decided to not only move up in the world in terms of open wheel racing, he's now gone up into the 3.5 category in the officials. I mean, maybe even finding another league to race in that car. But he's now also having to deal with Split 1 and another race series that he does as well. So a couple of drivers having dropped off, moving away. It's hard to really fit everything in that you want, but we still have our regular players out there. I mean, Daniel Byrne, Michael Cuttajar, even the rest of the Kittens boys. Jay Dixon is back as well. Brad Hudson.
Return of Matty Jones as well there, buddy. That's another big name that comes back. He's one of the fast front runners. I think what we're seeing too, man, is that these guys are starting to put in the practice for these races. This is such a tricky car to race. It's not the hardest of cars to drive, but it's a really hard car to drive fast. And you're right on the edge of the limit sometimes in trusting the grip. We've talked about it time and time again about trusting the car. And it's one of those things where the harder you push, the more grip you get. So I think, in Robbie's case, it's really hard to focus on more than one series, man. I mean, I race the V8 supercars, and that's pretty much what I focus on because it's so hard to find time to put in the practice for more than one car, man. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is.
So it's great to have these guys here, So.
Yeah, and especially when car types are so different. I mean, the supercar compared to the F3, they're polar opposites. And obviously he wants to be able to focus on the supercar in what he's racing, which is a good thing for him, but he also wants to be able to progress and get faster in faster open wheelers. So, I've always mentioned that I love the F3.5. I prefer it over the F3, but the F3 still produces great racing. The real only difference is the engine capacity and the fact that the F3s don't have DRS on them. So, these are the sort of things that you weigh up when you want to go racing.
It's interesting what you were talking about there, buddy, with the different styles of cars, and I suppose we saw it in real life on the weekend when SVG goes over to America and wins the first street race for NASCAR. So, it is funny that, and I know those NASCAR drivers were sort of talking about all of the, talking about how well the cars translate. So, I think they had Kimi Räikkönen that was over in that series for the first couple of runs of that Driver 91 car. And, they've seen the difference between an open wheeler guy come in and race for a couple of races, then see a supercar, a big heavy machine guy come in and race it. And it's two different styles. And in the sim, I think it's much the same. The way you got to drive these cars, almost polar opposites to how you drive something like a supercar.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the beauty of the NASCAR and the supercar is they're very similar. The NASCAR just has that, a different downforce sort of layout on the car than what the supercar has. But I mean,
underneath, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but regardless, we go racing here tonight in our return for F3s for Season 3 of 2023, brought to you by Shannons. And I mean, what a massive night of racing it's going to be. We have a sprint and a feature race here tonight. We're hoping to speak to the winner of the sprint race after the race is completed, and then we'll get all in for our feature here tonight. So it's a big field of drivers. There are 30 drivers signed up in the session at the moment. 28 of them have set a lap time in this practice session. So we could be looking at, around 30 drivers on track, and it's such a blissful start to the next season. I mean, it's so good to see so many drivers wanting to sign up and either come back or start new in the F3s for SRW. I mean, it is completely wild to see the numbers that we got last season compared to this season. It's absolutely fantastic to see a lot of drivers either re-sign up, so to join back or continue in the series, or even have new drivers show up and give it a crack as well. So it's fantastic, and hopefully it produces some absolutely incredible action for us to watch here tonight.
Well, one of the things that, we can say is that, look, we know that the fast guys in these cars, and they're super quick. And there is that divide amongst the sim racers, the ones that can devote a lot of time and practice and really hone their craft, to the guys that are just having a bit of fun. So you can see those divides. We do have, this series will be a Pro-Am, so we will have that split happen. We'll probably look at those numbers around about round 3, round 4, though we'll hear from the admins there on that divide. But that means that even the mid-pack guys, and that's where the racing is in a lot of series, they're still going to be vying for their own championship as well.
And as well as that, because I know that it can sometimes be confusing when you look at a timing tower and everyone appears to be on the same level. Yes, these drivers get scored on an overall championship, but they also get scored in their own classes. So next time out that we come racing here for the F3s, big moment for Jay Dixon there in practice. Oh my God, what a collision that was! And it's already started, Cowie. But so just for everyone at home, a little bit of inside baseball for you on this. We will actually have them separated on the tower by their classes, but they'll still be on the same. It'll still be an overall timing tower, so it'll look the same as it does now. But the AM drivers will have a different coloured number box next to their name to allow the viewers at home to be able to differentiate who's a pro and who's an AM, and who's in the fight for certain race victories in terms of a class win or an overall win, in a race. So we're going to try and bring that information to drivers fairly soon. So only about a minute left of practice, Cowie. Then we're going to get into the qualifying session for the sprint race.
This is going to be awesome. I'm just having a look at some of these practice times here. There's a couple of names that we mentioned that are back in, Phil Vella and Matty Jones. Those guys have, been sort of previous series winners here at SRW for the F3s. And then, you look at the practice times at the moment, and it's the Kittens boys of David Gallo and Darren Fahey that are sitting on top. So I'm sure that behind the scenes, this series, these guys have known that their solo Wednesday night has finally been coming, buddy. So give these guys a few weeks to practice, man, and look at the times that are coming out.
Oh,
it's going to be tight.
And I mean, look at these guys. Even though it's open practice, they're still driving closely together to get back on that feel of racing someone. Wheel to wheel, pretty much. We've mentioned before, these cars, they're like paper mache. You have a small knock and the thing just disintegrates. So it's important that these guys can hone their racecraft here tonight and prepare themselves for a nice long season ahead of wheel to wheel action, and actually bringing some good close action that may not lead to too many incidents, hopefully. But I guess we saw a massive accident already happen here in practice, Cowie. How many safety cars do you reckon we're going to see tonight?
Yeah, I was waiting for the question. Look, it's a new series. We've got a sprint round tonight, so it's a 20-minute race followed by a 40-minute reverse top 10. So you've got to factor that into your equation here, buddy. I'm thinking 4
Okay.
because we've got a big field and there's going to be plenty of action tonight. So I'm going with a big bold call of 4.
Fair enough then. I'm going to say, I think 4's fair because you could argue there could be 2 in each race. I'm going to say, since these guys are coming off fresh off a break, I mean, I'm going to say maybe, I don't want to be conservative and say 3. 5 feels like too many though as well. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, you've got to factor in the fact that race control will be reluctant to call out a safety car with 5 minutes to go. But we see before, man, safety cars breed safety cars.
Yeah.
And the program department is once again back as our safety car sponsor. So, I'm sure they'll get some good airtime tonight. Not that we want to see carnage. We just know that these guys are going to race hard. And, you're talking about a car that may as well be an origami piece sometimes.
Yeah. I feel quite special. I've started a movement now. It is now officially the Warren and Brown cockpit cam here on SRW TV. So we will jump in with some of the drivers, maybe across their qualifying laps, but definitely within the race, just to see what they're viewing out there while they are driving. But yeah, it is now officially the. I said it was just to give it a name, but now it is officially the Warren and Brown cockpit cam.
Yeah,
we will have a logo on screen whenever we cut to this in the future for the broadcasts. That'll be across all series as well, not just the F3s, but for the supercars, for the roulette wheel racing on Thursday nights, for the 8.6s. So it's going to be quite good to see across the board, and to even just jump in with some of the drivers and see how they are handling these tracks and how they even tackle some of the corners as well.
It's a great perspective. I know that a lot of our people that are watching out there tonight are fellow sim racers and racing some of the other nights we've got here at SRW. So we always love to get on board and see that cockpit view. Give you the feel of sitting in the car. And on that, guys, don't forget you can give us a shout out there in the chat. Say hi, let us know who you support. And I say Jace Douglas saying, let's go, Bruce. Jason and I had a great battle last night, and he might have turned me with the help of a bit of netcode, buddy. That was a good battle in both races last night. But look, let us know out there in the chat. I know that the Fishy Motorsports boys get some great support. We did lose Robbie Griffiths this season, but we've still got, I think Jason Chin is out there, and Adam Simpson as well. I shouldn't forget Adam, though it looks like he's at least joined in the right car this season, buddy.
Yeah, it does. So it means that he will actually be able to go racing here tonight. Also as well, just to give an update, so the qualifying mode that we have at the bottom of the screen, you will no longer see outlaps while people are on track. These are all these are all timed laps that you're seeing on screen. So we now no longer have the confusion on who's on a lap or who's not on a lap. So Jay Dixon is going to be the first one to actually cut a lap here tonight, but David Gallo has gone 3 purple sectors already, so he's looking to have an absolutely mega time come up on the board. He goes pole. I think Jay's time might have actually been deleted because he must have gotten an off track somewhere there, Cowie.
Yeah, well, look, these times are still going to be coming down. Now, it is a fixed setup series this, so, the guys have got to start on that. I think it's 45% fuel for the cars for tonight's racing. I'm under a good understanding, maybe some info from inside that the sprint race won't require a pit stop tonight. There will be only require 1 stop in the feature race. But yes, look, I'm looking forward to this, man. These times are still coming down, though. Remember, it takes at least 2 laps to get these tyres up to temp. Probably more likely 3 or 4 before you're going to see these guys get down well into the 51s, I would think. And I wouldn't be surprised to see someone get under the 51, 1 minute 51.
I mean, they are already super close to that lap time. It's already a 52.185 is the current provisional pole. Set by David Gallo. Daniel Byrne is only not 800ths behind him. We already know how close these guys can come in terms of lap time, but it's going to be very interesting to see where the pace lies and who is able to bring a challenge to the front of the field. Will we have a new challenger emerge throughout our racing this season? I mean, we know the regular players are still here, but
there's a couple of big guns that have come back. Phil Vella and Matty Jones are just two names, and then we've got a bunch of new guys here, and we've Scott Pocock. He's put it P5 at the moment, and I did see his name inside that top 10 for the practices. Michael Cuttajar, he's back once again. We know how quick Midle can be. Okay, there's the first time into the 51s. David Gallo with the 51.8. The Grandpa Gowan's going up into the top 5 at the moment with a 52.1.
Oh, that's a massive crash. Jones. That is huge. We'll get a quick replay of it up on screen just to see it once again. So he was...
he's just... I don't know if Craig was on an outlap there or just a little bit slower. And if Matty might have been on an outlap as well. But it is still early in qualifying. Well, I shouldn't say that, because we're already almost halfway through the qualifying session. And because it's the sprint round tonight, buddy, we all know that as soon as the clock hits 15 minutes, that ends. You don't get to finish your lap.
Exactly.
And now Matty Jones he's going to have to go back out there and try and get these tyres up to 10. He's yet to have set a lap at the moment. Does put you on a bit of pressure here at the sprint round. I know I felt it last night because it took me 3 goes to get a lap down, and then I was lucky to have the chance to do our push lap. But the V8 supercar, the tyres get up to temp straight away. These things, it takes a couple of laps. So yeah, Matty's only going to really get one more shot at this, and that might just shuffle things up as the leaderboard goes, buddy, because you've got 30 plus cars out there and you're trying to get in a clean run, and if the guy in front of you is a bit slower and you're right on his backside, if he's on a lap, he doesn't have to get out of the way.
Well, that's right. And I think not just that as well, but like that accident, I mean, Jason, I think he got it right there. It was a big net code, but I think it was just a little bit of tentative driving there by Matty. He didn't know if the other guy was on a lap or not. And right. I think he just got caught in the crossfire of that, and a little bit of hesitation kind of led to that moment. So now he really needs to focus on just getting his tyres up to temp and cutting in. He could probably get about 2 laps if he's back on track at the moment. We've got 7 minutes of this session left. They're doing just under 2-minute lap times, minute 50 around about. So he could probably get in 2 laps after warming up the tyres for 2 laps beforehand if he wants to. So
Michael Cuttajar, he's got into the 151s as well, the 151.9 at the moment. So maybe the fuller fuel loads, these guys were down into the low 151s in that practice session. So maybe just that bit more fuel in the car is costing a bit of lap time here. Or, as we said, it is that traffic, but Silverstone's one of those places where it's easy to pick up and off track as well. And in iRacing, if you go outside those track limits in a few places, get as a 1X, not only is it a 1X that would affect your safety rating in an official, but on a qualifying run, that voids your lap. So, and you're talking a 2-minute lap, so even in a perfect world, you're only going to get 5 or 6 chances at this.
Well, I mean, it's even like at Bathurst, like you feel, you dirty that lap. You've then got to do, like if you do an outlap, for example, and then you dirty your lap right at the start of the lap, well, then you have to do a whole lap before you can actually have another crack again at a lap time. And it's the same as if you have an incident and you're in the wall and you got to tow back to the pits. You have to do a whole outlap before you can actually get back on track and do a timed lap, pretty much. So it's, these are all things that we've spoken about previously. You just got to try and stay clean in qualifying, set that banker lap, and then go for your push. Because if you're not able to set that lap time, then you're just going to be really off the pace. Like, you're going to be
Well,
in no man's
if you
land.
don't put a banker lap in, you could be one of the fastest guys in the field. But if you end up at the back of the grid,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, it's hard to make 30 passes in a race.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Matty Jones as well, just slipping outside the top 10 off that previous lap time. He gets into P11. He's got about 6.5 tenths to gain on the pole time of David Gallo with that 151.8. So I think, you know, again, these guys are fresh off a bit of a break, depending on if they raced in our unbroadcasted F1 race last Wednesday. But, you know, if they haven't raced in the last 3 weeks, then they're coming in fresh and, like, you know, without practice pretty much. So it's almost like a hard reset for them.
I think some of these guys would have been practicing all nice and, you know, one of the advantages of knowing, you know, you've got 2 or 3 weeks before the new season starts is you can, once the calendar's out, you can see the track, you can do a bit of practice. I know, you know, the boys did a fair bit at Belle Isle for the V8s for my team. Unfortunately, I broke my foot and have been recovering, so I didn't get to do a lot, but what I did do helped. And same thing here. I think what we find, that first lap of Matty Jones would have been still that first hot lap with the tyres still coming up.
Yeah.
So, you know, this one here is the one that's going to count. And so far he's been, you know, Brad Hudson has managed to keep a good pace in front of him. So that meant, you know, that he hasn't caught right up in the back of him. And he's probably got a bit of a toe. Can't see Matty's sectors at the moment. Jay Dixon with a couple of greens. But David Gallo seems to be the man on the pace at the moment.
Oh, he is the man to beat right now in qualifying. He is just on pace at the moment. The closest person to him in terms of lap time is Michael Cuttajar. He's 700ths off the pace right now that has been set by David.
Look at those times.
Oh.
Look at the intervals. So if you have a look at the intervals here, guys, so we've got 700ths from first to second, 600ths from second to third, 700ths from third to fourth, 700ths from fourth to fifth, 0 so we're talking thousandths from seventh, from fifth to sixth. Yeah, so I look down, and it's not until we get down to 10th that I see more than a 10th between these guys. Like, that is crazy.
It is unbelievable. I mean, you can see it on the tower. There, it's all orange intervals right now up until Tyler and P25. It's so close.
So yeah, so if we have a look at it, yeah, so it's P15 is the first car that's a second off the pace. The top 15 are all within a second. That's crazy.
Unbelievable. So we've got about 2 minutes of qualifying left. That means that, well, there's only one lap left.
If you haven't started your lap, you're not getting it in.
No. So you need to start this next lap to try and get to the end of qualifying. I don't think David Gallo is going to be able to get another. He's not going to be able to get another lap in because there's less than 50 or 150 left. So
I'd say that he's, you know, maybe just looking to see where he, you know, can get pace in a couple of sectors. But already, Adrian Loretti is the one here on the charge. He's got 3 green sectors. Michael Cuttajar's all on oranges there, so I think that slide from Michael probably ended that lap. But Adrian Loretti here, green sectors, what can he do? As he comes over the line, goes up into P5 with a 52.08. So, Daniel Byrne across the line with a 52.02. So these times are super close.
Brad Hudson crosses the line. He remains in P15. So the times are coming quick and fast right now. Danny Matisic, what can he do when he crosses the line?
We've got a few greens there as well. So Danny's going to make an improvement here.
And what does he do off that lap?
Oh,
I don't even think it counted.
I think he must have had a 1x in there. Yeah, I didn't see it come up. So that's unfortunate. At least him in 20th position. He was certainly going to jump up there if that had counted. Adam Simpson here in the Fishy Motorsports does have the Piranha on it. Awesome to see.
I don't think Adam's time was counted either.
No. Okay. Well, we've seen that, you know, track limits on X's. Well, look at what happened at the Red Bull Ring for last week's Formula 1. What did they say? There was, over the weekend, there was 1,200 track limit violations.
Yeah, it was insane.
1200.
I feel like I feel like they just need to establish better track limits on that track. Like, you know, you run wide slightly at the second to last corner, and it's always a track deletion. Like, come on, just let it go out slightly wider.
Sheepy puts up the point that yes, the boys raced last week for the Red Bull Ring for that continue F1 mirror series that we are running. You are right, Sheepy. So those boys might have only had a week's practice. Good luck, Hardo, out there from W&K Reynolds. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, Hardo. He was right in the hunt for that AM series. I think finished second for the AMs last season. So he'll be looking to move one more step up the chain. All right, race control is now just letting everyone know these final instructions as we get ready to grid up for tonight's race, buddy. Looking forward to this.
So here is the grid for tonight's race. David Gallo will start on pole position just ahead of Michael Cuttajar in P2. Jay Dixon starts this race out of P3 just ahead of Daniel Byrne in P4 there. Darren Fahey will make up the top 5 just ahead of Adrian Loretti in P6. Phil Vella will start this race out of P7 just ahead of the grandpa Doug Gowans in P8. P9 going to Scott Pollock there with, Scott Pocock. And then P10 going to Nick Ryan. P11 tonight going to Matt Jones just ahead of Chris Swalding in P12. And then we run down to P13 for Adam Simpson, Andrew Lydon in P14, Brad Hudson out of P15, Jason Chin in P16, Bruce White starting out of P17, Craig Platter in P18, and then P19 going to Callan Hodgkinson with Danny Matisic making up the top 20 here tonight. Nathan Gardner at a P21, Luke Johnson at P22, Cameron O'Brien at a P23, P24 going to Steven Spinovich there, and then P23 going to, P25 going to Matt Tisa. I can't read it properly from that screen.
Tesorio.
Tesorio. And then P20.
Anyway, well, they're about to get going, buddy.
So we got to get ready to go racing here.
This is one of the Formula 3 Nationals, the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals. We're about to go green. It's going to be an awesome race. And here they go. Good launch from the front runners. There's a bit of movement in the back there. There's a guy's already starting to go.
There's contact already. And they've been, that's a massive, oh my God, that is huge. And I would say, Cowie, that is going to be a safety car for sure.
Oh my God. That is a massive amount of carnage there. And cracking field indeed, Steve Tompkins. Wow, that has certainly going to shuffle things up there. David Gallo right at the front there. There was contact between him and I think it was Michael Cuttajar. So, wow.
That
what a moment.
Was
Who's that
huge.
crabbing in front of David? That's Michael crabbing, I think, is it?
I'm not sure, but we're going to pull up a replay. I'm trying to get as many as I can, but here's the start. So you see Cuttajar go to the outside of the track, then just on the inside, and then you see there, it's just a ripple effect after that. So Michael goes off the track, and then we'll just bring it up here to see Daniel's incident as well. So he has contact.
So that happened to Michael, and so it looks just high contact, and they got tangled up, and unfortunately, guys trying to go through. That is going to be an interesting one for race control because, those cars are moving the whole time. It's hard to make a call on holding brakes when you're still moving. Wow. Huge moment there to start off the Shannons Formula 3 National Series here. Wow. At least the safety car will give everyone a chance just to cool their jets. We do have a fast repair available for these drivers, so they will have a fast repair in each of tonight's races. But David Gallo, well, he was at the front of the field. Michael Cuttajar right at the front of the field, these guys. So, yeah, they'll get their car fixed, but now there's going to be 30 cars in front of them.
I mean, the way that is just shaken up the entire grid. Matt Jones, who started in P11, is now up into P3. Off of that. Just off that on its own.
P6, he's up 5. Matty Jones up 8. Andrew Lydon up 8. Brad Hudson up 6. Craig Parrott, Callan Hodgkinson, Danny Matisic all up 8. Cameron O'Brien up 10. And we're going to see, all of those guys going in to repair their cars. Bruce White caught up in that. Jason Chin caught up in it. Jay Dixon, Chris Swadling. No, yep, Chris is in that. The grandpa, Doug Gowan's got caught up in that. So it claimed a few names, buddy, and wow, what a explosive start to our brand new series here. Shannon's on board the Formula 3 Nationals, and 29 cars? 31 cars.
31 cars.
Wow.
And we didn't... And you know what? I expected, there'll maybe be an incident in the mid-pack. But the front of the field, they didn't even make it through turn 1. Like, they literally made it 100 or like maybe 300 meters.
I think we might have a sheep station on this one, buddy, because these boys were playing for the win at T1. Nah, it's awesome to see. Look, we've seen how close the times have been. Hundreds separating each of these positions in qualifying. So the pace is so much there. So at the start of the race, you're all bunched up. If you're brave and you're bold, the opportunity's there, but the potential for carnage is so much more increased when you've got to drive 3 on cold tyres and push it near the edge to try and get a spot. Wow.
Oh, unbelievable. I'm just going to quickly try and see if we can actually get the right car that actually did flip off that incident. I think it might have been Daniel Byrne. We'll see here.
On board? Are you going on board here?
Yeah, on board.
Anyone with a lunch?
Yep. So that it was Daniel Byrne. So you can see that.
Any VR watchers?
We'll also go to the Warren and Brown cockpit cam to see what happened as well, just to get an even more first-hand event. So you see the contact. He had nowhere to go, and then bang, just
pulverized.
Oh my god!
Pinball machine.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Well, the promo department safety car is out there to let everyone just cool their jets a little bit. Look at the field, all bunched up. I think we've still got Daniel Byrne in the pits at the moment. He's been in there for 3 or 4 minutes. Did he forget to turn a fast repair on or something?
Maybe, or so there are 3. He's back out now. Yeah, he is. So maybe he thought I'll just save it. Maybe he thought to save it because he'll make the back of the field again. He's going to be at the back anyway, even if he had it.
You wouldn't want to save it because, the slightest bit of damage on these cars can cost you a second or more. You get better diffuser damage or wing damage, and, you're well off the pace. You can't push the car. So
that could have just been the tow time, though, as well. I mean, it's a 2-minute lap time.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be, yeah. So they would have had a time of towing there. Looks like who's had another big long one was Jason Chin, so Jason might have had to tow as well. But wow. Steve
described it perfectly. Boy, oh boy. I mean, it's a perfect start from a viewer's perspective.
Here tonight, like to the season, wasn't it? I mean, what? You can't complain about the show here.
No.
When, we can, cars get thrown up in the air and everything right at the start of the race. It's pretty flashy, isn't it?
I know. Like, it's just, what a way to start it. I mean, we've not even done a full lap of race. We've not even done 2 corners of racing, technically. Right. and it's just like, welcome to season 3. Thank you, Shannons, for sponsoring what can only be described as an absolute barn burner of an opening lap.
Look, this is shaping up as probably the most competitive field that I've seen here at SRW, and I've been, commentating these right since we started, a year and a half ago, and the F3s have been my baby, I suppose. So I've got to grow up and watch a few of these guys, mature in their driving and find that pace. I know we're missing Scotty Barton tonight, which is a bit unfortunate. I know Scotty was one of those guys we saw that was just improving, season by season. But this field here, when you're seeing guys like Matty Jones qualify 10th, because they couldn't, had a little off track in there, couldn't get a clean lap in, this is what makes it so tight. look at the names that are up there. We've got the ones we know, the Kittens guys, Adrian Loretti and Darren Fahey, P1 and 2. But Matty Jones up 8 spots into P3. You know, and then we've got Scott Pocock, one of the new guys, is having a great run. He's managed to avoid the carnage and finds himself in P5. So, you know, already there's some, a big shake-up of the field, buddy. But it's still only early yet. And what you're going to see is those guys that did cop the raw end of the stick, they're going to be all concentrating on trying to get to P10. Remember, reverse top 10 for next race.
Well, I mean, the drivers that were involved, you could argue, in that incident was probably Chris Swadling, Jay Dixon, Michael Cuttajar, Doug Gowans, David Gallo, Bruce White, Jason Shin, and Daniel Byrne. Nathan Gardner's down 2 spots, but I think he might have just lost out when avoiding the incidents. I don't think he's actually been... I know he has actually been in the pits, so he must have been involved in that. At least he was less affected by the other guys.
He was at the back.
Yeah,
of the field.
But I mean, all those guys have now been put to the back of the field. Daniel Byrne could give us an incredible show here of him actually having to pick himself through the field as the
Jay
safety
Dixon's
car.
back there as well.
Yep.
Michael Carterjar's back there. There's like 3 or 4 really fast guys that are at the back of the field, and for them, P10 is P1 in this race because that gets them on the front row for, you know, race number 2. P11 leaves you P11 for the next race. So P10, look at that battle in and around there. That's where it's going to be at for the rest of this race, buddy.
Well, we are getting ready for the restart. We'll see when Loretti goes as he comes round the final 2 corners. The 2 Kittens have pulled away from Matty Jones in P3. We get ready to go racing once again. Can they last more than 2 corners here at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit? It's a nice entry through turn 1 for them. It's looking nice and tidy so far.
It was a great plan jumped by the Kittens 1-2 there, getting a nice good jump. Looks like a bit of the field got caught out because we're already seeing a few gaps. Who was that ran wide there? Was that, I missed to see who that was that ran wide there. But, I mean, remember, still, we're looking for cold tyres here. These guys are still going to get them up. Oh, big moment from Matt. Testo Riero. Matt, let us know if we are pronouncing your name right, buddy. But I know that that's not really the way you wanted to appear on the screen. And also, Chris Swadling's had a moment there as well. Looks like the car was undamaged, so I think he might have just had a spin of cold tyres. Oh, hang on. Moment in front of him. Yeah, no, just spin with cold tyres. And he's done well, held his brakes, and the field's got around him. That was Michael Cuttajar trying to carve his way through. Look, yeah, buddy. Also already a few of the guys taking a few liberties with the track limits as they come through. That's Cops, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Cops Corner as they now come through Maggots and Beckett's up towards the Hanger Straight. Is this one the Hanger Straight or is it the other straight?
The Hamilton Straight, I think it's called now, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, I think this is the Hamilton Straight.
Yeah, what's the Hanger Straight? It's called the Hamilton Straight now.
Yep.
Yes, this great track, you know, once the side of a World War II Royal Air Force bomber station out here. So, and now I think it started with a bunch of ad hoc guys that started to race on the you know, the airfields, and turned into a racetrack in the 50s, I think, or the late 40s.
Very similar to Sebring in that way as well.
Yep.
That being a former military base as well. I know they also do air shows there still when there's not a race happening. So
Phil Vella with a move there we missed before. So he's made a move on Matty Jones because you can see that he's broken clear now and he's starting to catch up to the back of the 2 Kittens in front of him. Phil Vella, you wouldn't know this, buddy, but he actually won the first season here this year for SRW, and he won, I think it was all but one of the sprint races.
Wow.
He won everything.
Unbelievable.
So already carving his way through the field and making a move on Matty Jones there. And we've said before, Matty Jones, no slouch. He's a Scops driver and quite fast. I know I was talking to him last week and he wasn't sure if he was going to race the F3s because he just said it's when you're trying to, you know, get to Scops level and race at Scops level for the V8s. You know, we talked about it before, how opposite these cars are. And he thinks that, you know, focusing on these affects his driving for the V8s. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that he hasn't put in a huge amount of work here tonight for that exact reason.
I think Cowie, unfortunately, I think Adrian Loretti's actually dropped out of the session.
Yeah? Oh, no. What's happened there? I can't see
I think he's actually had a disconnect because on my end, on the
packet loss. Yeah, I just seen it come up. Oh, no. So Adrian Loretti with a massive moment. And I suppose that's the effect of, blowing your engine or, the mechanic not putting the wheel nut on the car properly, I suppose. It's, the mechanical error. And that is unfortunate, leading the race and your computer deciding, or your internet deciding not to play ball.
Daniel Byrne as well is already up into P26. He's hoping to get P25 here against Kevin Wakefield. He gets the job done. Adam Simpson heads into the pits as well after having a bit of an off track. So it's one more position for Daniel now. Remembering that there are no scheduled pit stops in this sprint race. So as long as they can keep it on track and not need to head into the pits, then Daniel should be able to just weave his way through the field here nice and slow for the next 6 laps.
Phil Vella, he's on the attack here, closing in on Darren Fahey. And, already Matty Jones, 3 seconds back behind
3.8 seconds
Vella.
behind him.
Yeah.
So the gap is already forming.
He's a man on a mission, and I when I saw his name here tonight, I thought Phil's super quick. One of the things is he is really quick in a race.
Yeah.
Right. So I think even in the first season, I think he got pipped a few times for the pole, but was always able just to get on it with cold tyres and get right up to speed. Okay, we've got a nice move here, have we?
Nathan Gardner's had a moment.
Or is that assisted? Or I think that's picked up a little bit of damage in the kitten. Yeah, so there might be a call to race control there, but we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, we got almost coming up to the 15-minute mark of this race, so we, I suppose you blink and you miss it, buddy, but with the safety car, and it took a few laps to get things up the thing. Oh, big deep there from Luke Johnson. Looks like he might have done well to... he's done well to had a decent slowdown there to burn off.
Yeah.
But the car was straight.
And Adrian Loretti's back as well. Sorry, Cowie, just to mention he is back and he's back
made it back
track.
in?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Unfortunately, it put him at the back of the grid for the next race, but yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, and he's now a lap down, but that's all right. He'll, he might be able to find some free positions if there's an incident here or there. So we'll have to wait and see.
All right, well, this battle up front, these guys are setting a blistering pace with 52 flats. Remember, they were only doing, 51.8 in qualifying, so these guys are only a couple of tenths off qualifying pace in the race. And at the moment, they're lapping a second quicker than anyone else behind them. So it's a 2-horse race for heat number 1 here, buddy. Can Darren Fahey hang on as Phil Vella closes in?
It's going to be tough for him, but his teammate at the moment, Jay Dixon, has made his way back up into P12 now. He's only 9 spots off where he started this race.
And it's only a second from 10th as well there, so that could be a telling moment. We talked about the battle for 10th.
Here's Nathan Gardner. He had another little moment here. I think that might be Steven Singovich just ahead of him.
I think he tapped the back of Steven then and just arrested the front of the car, and the rear looped around on him.
Yep.
Very easy to do with these things. So Jay Dixon on a hunt. Does he have enough time left? About 3.5 minutes of this motor race. So I'd say if we have a look at the leaders when they cross, if there's more than 2 minutes, we're probably looking at 2 laps to go.
So these guys are just heading into the final couple of corners now, so they will cross the line before we get to 17 minutes. So I'd say we're going to get 2 more laps of racing. Jay Dixon at the moment will have a bloodlust for Danny Matisich right now to get up onto the back of him and get a move done. He's now cut the gap from 2.5 seconds in a couple of corners down to only 1.3 seconds at the moment. Danny needs
to fight hard too, because Cameron in front of him is holding that all-important P10. Cameron O'Brien, one of our new runners here, and he's having a good run of it at the moment. Could find himself right at the front of the field for race number 2 if things stay as they are, and that would be a lovely baptism of fire for Cameron. So let's keep an eye on it, see what happens.
So we might just quickly cut though, because Brendan Soper has had a moment. We'll just quickly bring it up on screen, then we'll cut back to the battle at hand. So coming through, Maggots and Beckett's.
That's a bump there from, I think that was Adam Simpson, was it? Contact there. So that'll be another one for Race Control to have a look at. Big field, so Race Control certainly got their hands full tonight. Though I haven't seen any penalties handed out at the moment. So perhaps just that... I didn't hear... he did come on the radio before Race Control there, but I didn't hear perhaps that race one interesting incident just called a racing incident.
Well, Cameron O'Brien is currently dropping his gap.
Oh.
So he's gone from above 3 seconds back to Jay Dixon. And it is now a 2.3 second gap back to Jay. So Danny's got about a second and a half ahead of him to Cameron. Brad Hudson is dropping. He's gone off the field at Maggots and Beckett's.
Oh, Darren Fahey is also pulling out that lead up in front too. It's now 1.4 seconds from Phil Vella. So Darren's really getting into the groove here and set his good times. But these guys still battling within a couple of tenths of each other. So, all right, is Barney got the white flag out there? Didn't see him waving it, but I would think it's a white flag lap. So 1 lap to go. This is the first race. It's a sprint format tonight here for round 1 for the Shannons F3 Nationals. And it is Darren Fahey for Kittens Racing leading Phil Vella for Downforce Racing. Phil with a return to the series after taking last season off. And he's right in the hunt as we expected. Scott Pocock has got past Matty Jones there in the background too. So I don't know if Matty had a moment, but Scott lapping in the 52s at the moment.
We got Nick Ryan just in behind him as well with Andrew Linden.
Matty got a bit of damage on that car maybe.
I don't know actually. Not sure. Jay Dixon has also gotten the move done on Danny Matisic to get into the top 10.
All right. Can he get Cameron on this last lap? Phil Vella is staying close, but the gap is still 1.2 seconds. So we might have a look and see how Jay's going here. Right, there is the gap in front.
And this is all for P9 now. So Jay is in the top 10 as it stands. He might actually just sit there, Cowie, so he starts on pole in the feature race.
Why he's in P10 now, is he?
He is.
So what's happened? We've lost someone.
Because Brad Hudson was in the top 10 when he had his incident.
Hudson. Oh, there you go. So Jay has got the all-important P10. Oh, let's go to the front and see. Phil Vella has brought that gap down a bit further, but Darren Fahey's managing it beautifully here. Only a couple of corners left to go, and it will be Darren Fahey for Kittens Racing will take out heat number 1 here for round 1 for the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals. That's a great drive there from Darren Fahey. P2 to Phil Vella for Downforce Racing. And Scott Pocock for Red Rocket Racing. Well, first appearance at SRW and straight onto the podium for heat number 1. Wow. Matty Jones coming home P4. Nick Ryan, another newcomer, has brought it home in the top 5 ahead of Andrew Lydon, Callan Hodgkinson, Craig Platter, Cameron Bryan and Jay Dixon. Number 10. So there is our pole sit up for race number 2. Wow. What a cracker of a race, mate.
Oh,
explosive at the start. And Steve Tonkin with a big oh no for Hutto. Yeah, that's going to hurt. Because he was in the top 10 and near the front for race number 2.
Yeah, he commenter cursed him because he said Hutto making solid gains, and then the incident happened as soon as he sent it.
Not commentator's curse, it was supporter's curse.
Yeah, it's the commenter's curse, I guess you could say. Oh well, that's the end of our heat race here tonight. We will await everyone to come into the pit so we can get our results up on screen. Hopefully our race winner comes into the green room so we can have a chat to them as well, Cowie. But we're currently banking on the feature race to have either 3 or 4 safety cars in it to get our predictions correct.
That's it. remember, we've also got to keep an eye out for the Tempting Sweets driver of the night. So at the moment, look, what a cracker from, there's also some cracker racing in there, and guys that have jumped a whole chunk of positions. So already a few names coming to mind, buddy. Jay Dixon with a great recovery. His teammate Phil Vella fighting through the field to, uh, you know, to finish P2. Even Matty Jones P4 from P11 on the grid. So let's keep that in mind. There is the results of the first heat here, and it was Darren Fahey for Kittens Racing taking it out a little bit over a second ahead of Phil Vella for Downforce Racing, and Scott Pocock with his first appearance here in SRW for Red Rocket Racing, P3 in race number 1. Awesome work. Matty Jones, Nick Ryan, Andrew Lydon, Callan Hodgkinson, Craig Platter, Cameron O'Brien, nice drive there from Cameron, and Jay Dixon making up the top 10. So that top 10 will be reversed for race number 2 here.
Yep.
Danny Matisic, P11, Michael Cullajar with a good recovery from, 28th, 29th, has come back to finish 12th. Doug Gowans, he also got caught up in a heap of that action, explosive action at the front there, buddy. So that's a good recovery for P13 for Doug as well. And Wayne Edwards, Daniel Byrne recovering to P15, but we saw Daniel got involved there and had a damaged car there for most of the rest of that race too. Wow.
What a race
Huge.
it was. Unbelievable
Wow.
action. I mean, I would argue that, I think you could argue that Jay was probably actually the driver of the day for that one, having to pick his way back through the field to get back into the top 10, to have the pole position for the second race of the night. It'll be dependent on if he actually wins this race. If he can win this race, I would claim that he is probably the driver of the night so far. If we get one of the top 3 from that last race really challenging up the front again, then you would definitely have to make an argument for them. But they've got a warm up at the moment, Cowie. So we have a couple of moments just to kind of, talk about what we could see in this race and what kind of just happened in that one. I mean, what an explosive start. I mean,
Mate, little comment from Phil Vella in the chat here saying unlucky Adrian. Darren, lucky Adrian was towing you around. So the games are on already from the boys. Great to see. Quite a few of these boys have raced a few seasons here now. They know each other well. But, I mean, even the new guys coming in there, I don't think any of that incident on lap 1 was the result of, a new guy coming in, sending it up in the middle. It was just, it was
from the regular players.
It was the regulars like getting in amongst it. That's right.
It was the seasoned veterans. I mean, they know
That's
better
right.
than that, and they cause it. It's like, oh well, those new boys aren't actually that bad.
That's it, buddy. No, we love having you all along. Look, we jest about it. I know, I suppose the great beauty is that no one actually got hurt, and they could all, come back in and fast repair and keep racing.
Well,
so,
yeah. I mean, if it was real racing, there'd be a real talk about, problems with that sort of incident happening. Just to quickly reveal to everyone, so at the end of tonight's broadcast, don't leave straight away when we go to the interviews, because there will actually be a special little surprise after the interviews here tonight before we actually go off the air, and it actually has a lot to do with tomorrow night's race in our randomized series. So I'm not gonna reveal any more than that, but people need to make sure they stick around to the very end of the broadcast tonight to find out what that surprise is. Because it's quite an interesting one for sure, Cowie.
Well, looks like we not seeing a Darren Fahey appearing in the green room or anything. I can't see any of the Kittens guys in the lounge. I will be back in a moment. I'm going to see if they can put a shout out to see if we can get Darren in.
Yep, no worries at all. So we've got it's about a minute left actually of the warm up here, ladies and gentlemen. So we will await for the warm up to finalise. Actually, no, it's a 10-minute warm up, so we actually have 5 more minutes. Cowie is back.
Yep. So they're just going to ask for us and see if we can get Darren in for a quick chat. It'll have to be a quick one because he maybe needs to work on setup.
Yep, and we got about 5 minutes of warm up, so he might be wanting to focus on that as well. That's even if he wants to come have a chat to us, he might just decide no, they don't deserve to speak to
might be in the zone. That's right.
Yep. So
I know that Who's is it Ted? That's right, it's Ted that does the walk on the grid walk for Formula One, and
Yeah,
I know that Verstappen avoids him like the plague. He
yeah.
finds it very hard.
Oh, we have Jay Dixon in there. We'll talk to him
Jay's
since he's
come in.
starting on pole. Hello, Jay. What a wild race that was.
That was really wild. Yeah, I apologise really to Michael. I got in the back of him at turn one, but I putting the replay back. I don't think I was the cause of that one, thankfully. But yeah, I was definitely the end of Michael's first bit.
I mean, what a comeback though to make it back into P10, and now starting from pole for this next race. When you got into P10, were you just like, I'm just going to sit here now and start from pole in the next race?
No, I was pushing to catch ninth, but I've got this reputation amongst my mates for just lucking into the reverse grid pole and just somehow, and they reckon I do it deliberately. But
Well, I was going to say, do you owe Brad Hudson a beer for his little mistake there? Because I think you were P11 and then he he had a big off and handed it to you.
I owe a few people some beers, I think. Adrian dropped. I think his PC crapped itself mid-race. Yeah, Brad dropped it somewhere. There was a couple other guys that spun in front of me. So yeah, no, it wasn't just pace that got that done.
Well, I was going to say, buddy, look, there's quite a few quick guys out there now. It's not just a handful of you boys. The top 10 were all, each spot was separated by a few hundreds. It's looking pretty intense out there this season, buddy.
Yeah, I love it actually. I love a nice big field of cars, and it's good to have. I love that we have the Pro and Am divisions now as well. So it's not just overall. There is a separate competition, I guess, if you like, happening within the same grid. So it's good. It's good for the audience. It's good for the racing. It gives you more than just one thing to do in the race as well. There's more than one goal, so it's nice.
All right, so is the plan everything's in the mirror behind you now, buddy? So
I hope so.
you're hoping as many accidents happen back there?
Oh, look, I'm never hoping for accidents, but it'd be nice to clear out and put some solid laps in. It'll be one of those time trial type races, possibly.
Oh.
But
Well,
see how we go.
I'll just let you know that I called 4 safety cars for tonight, and Hamish called 5. So we're expecting a bit of carnage, buddy. So good luck.
One or two is alright, but 5, I think, yeah, no, 5. It's a bit stressful behind the safety car with a long pack like this. I almost hit Nathan Gardner, I think it was. I almost hit him about 6 times in the safety car queue.
All right, buddy. Well, we better let you go. Good luck. You got about 2.5 minutes left of the session. Awesome to chat to you, mate, and good luck. P1, everyone's hunting you down, buddy. Target's in your back.
Congrats to Darren for the sprint race victory.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. He's supposed to come in and have a chat to us. He's a bit shy, I think. So.
No, he's got no mic tonight, apparently. He's been saying so I'm here in his stead.
That sounds like a cutter jar excuse, I think. Michael's been racing for so many seasons, he still doesn't have a mic.
Yeah.
Anyway, buddy, we'll let you go. Good luck, mate, and have some fun.
Cheers. Talk to you later, hopefully.
Oh, Hamish.
Very good to chat to him there. I mean, what a wild race we are about to have, though, Cowie. I mean, the incident that happened on lap 1 was absolutely incredible, to say the least. And I think that having all these drivers in and amongst it is going to be absolutely incredible to see. It's also going to be really intriguing to see how they actually now tackle lap 1 this time. Because we don't want to have another incident like that happen at the start of the race.
Nathan Verney in the chat saying really mad that he didn't get home in time to join. What were you? Race looks super fun. I thought you were saying you didn't get in time to get right in the middle of the carnage that happened on that T1, Nathan. Don't you normally find yourself in amongst them, buddy? No. Well, hopefully you're here next week, buddy. It looks like it's going to be a bumper field this season. 31 cars tonight. So you can make it number 32. I know that we got 44 registered, I think. So I think they're actually closing off the rego for F3. So if you are out there looking to make sure you jump on and get in, you better jump on board straight away because your spot might be disappearing.
Yeah, you really got to jump on that opportunity. I think they're allowing, what was it, like 50 entries or something like that for the series. So
44. Generally, I think that's more of broadcasting. Once you get over sort of 44, 45 cars, that's when iRacing really struggle for broadcast purposes.
Yeah.
So I think we've seen it before, guys that have tried to run broadcast for 50 car races and get glitches and everything. So so I think, yeah, 45's the cutoff. So we're pretty close to that, 31 tonight. And I know there's a bunch of, yep, Nathan's saying he's glad he registered. Good call, buddy. Yeah, well, that's what you need to do. Because, yeah, look, I'm sure that we're going to end up with some massive fields tonight in the weeks to come, buddy. And with Shannons coming on board as the major sponsor, awesome.
Yeah, it's phenomenal to have them involved in the series, and it's a massive appreciation to them. We are getting ready to grid up now. I've been caught out here because I'm actually just trying to quickly separate their classes, so we actually have some good, some good separation on the actual on the timing tower. So I'll quickly do this. I might just quickly I'll sit with the pole sitter and we can call the start as I quickly do it. Just so then we know where everyone is in terms of positions. But it's going to be a massive race, Cowie. I mean, 23 laps around this Silverstone circuit. It's not going to be easy for these drivers to, they really need to be able to keep the head cool and keep themselves, in check.
Well,
for this race.
interesting thing about that grid you put up there. So Cameron O'Brien, an AM driver, he's sitting P2 at the moment on the grid. So here we go. This is race number 2. It's round 1 here at Silverstone for the Shannons F3 Nationals. And we are off and racing. Movement already in the back there. I think that was Cameron that bogged down a little bit at the start, but he's got clear now. Craig Platter putting the pressure on him straight away. But remember, cold tyres. Oh, you can see
that's
some
a big
twitching
moment.
Flying. Is that Cameron? That's Cameron with a massive moment. Can he stay? Oh, he somehow kept it going. He's going to have a massive slowdown there. But I think he might have got away with that in a big way. Wow.
That was unbelievable, Cowie.
Matty Jones looking to make a move up the inside of him there. And I think that's Craig Platter making a move for the lead of this race on Jay Dixon. Matty Jones sneaking through. Oh, they've gone deep. In the background there, guys going really deep under brakes there, buddy.
We will quickly come back to everything that has happened just in these last couple of moments here. I've nearly got everyone done on the timing tower now, so we should have it when we come on to the end of this lap, Cowie. But it's been a wild start. There's not been a massive incident once again, which is good.
Good clean racing.
Yeah, good clean racing at the moment, which we love to see. So it's fantastic to see these drivers just kind of, keeping themselves in check a little bit.
Oh, man, Jones making a little bit of a move there on Jay Dixon, trying to get a great exit. Cameron Bryan, though, well, what a save. He was full send across the grass, out of control, and he somehow managed to save that. Who's that going up the inside? I think that was Nick Ryan and Phil Vella battling back there for P5. I saw a car going wide there. Phil Vella hanging on to the inside run, but Nick's putting him under quite a bit of pressure back there. Some good racing in the mid-pack. Oh, and Phil Vella, go back to Nick Ryan and Phil Vella there, buddy. They were sides by side.
These guys are still racing hard at the moment.
And it looks like Phil Vella has got through on Nick there. I think it was Nick that was attacking him, so maybe Nick's had to get out of it because he's lost a bit of time. Phil Vella now looking to make a move on Andrew Lydon. So Phil already showing pace, and he wants to get this done quickly before those front runners get too far ahead.
He really does at the moment. We're going to try and stick with as many battles as we can. There has been a couple of moments already. Brad Hudson and Danny Matisic. Oh my God, let me catch it, please, so I can check them.
Yellow's plummeting down the list, buddy. Something's happened there. Cameron O'Brien all over the shop too, but something's happened. Oh, look, there's missing a wing. Who's
Danny Matisic?
Danny Matisic. Oh, and the rear of that car, and he's done well to avoid people. Wow, could have easily gone in and taken out another car or two there. Okay. Was that Adam Simpson got up the inside there?
Brad Hudson.
Oh, Bradley Hudson locked it, but he's held his brakes and looks like he's avoided anything major to the car. Oh, and that's what's happened to Big Gallo. So, look, no one's fault. I think they're just trying to avoid Brad Hudson in the middle of the track, and
Look at
Danny's
Madison,
car's
he's
crabbing, and
He's reverse drifting through that corner at the moment.
and he can barely keep the car straight, so he's just trying to get back to the pits. Bruce White with an off there as well, so I think Bruce was trying to avoid that.
Oh, that's Matt Jones.
That's Matty Jones, and he's lost the rear, and that's who's that taken out? That's Nick Ryan. I think he's got caught up in
Daniel
that.
Gowans maybe as well. That was absolutely huge, and I'm going to make the claim again, Cowie. I reckon that's got to be a safety car for sure.
I'm thinking it has to be, my friend. Safety car, yep, it is, and wow.
Unbelievable.
So Matty Jones on the radio apologising. I think he's just lost the rear there, and at the wrong spot. So interesting. Can these guys get home? I think it's too early for a pit stop to get home.
So just to give everyone the so they know what the colours mean. Red on the timing tower is an amateur driver. Gold is a pro driver. So that is your differences.
We do know that the reverse top 10 does tend to mix and put a few of the AM guys up the front there.
Yep.
So, but Craig Plato had a great move there on the first lap on Jay Dixon, and he's done quite well at the moment. He did have that gap out to about a second or so on Jay. Phil Vella, there's a massive mover, 5 positions up to P4. So our P2 place getter from race number 1 now up 5 spots and inside the top 5. The big mover though, Nathan Gardner up 17 positions.
It's
Adrian Loretti up 17 positions in P11 as well after that unfortunate computer failure and having to start at the back of the grid for this race, and he's up 17 positions as well. Wow. Biggest loser, Daniel Byrne down 11, Danny Matisic down 16, Nick Ryan
as well,
and Matty Jones down 23 position.
Yep, and those blokes are in the pits at the moment. They'll be hoping for a tow. It was a massive incident. I mean, now, would you say if they came in the pits now, they'd actually make it home from here? I mean, with 45% fuel...
I don't know, because I think it's a fairly decent fuel burn around here at Silverstone.
Yeah. But
the issue is probably going to be, I think Matty Jones and Nick Ryan will find themselves a lap down.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like Alan Hodgkinson coming in the pits, Nathan Gardner coming in the pits. So there's a couple of guys there that are maybe going, hey, we're right close to a window. So maybe the bit of saving or maybe thinking there might be another safety car would be enough to get them home. So I had a little gamble on fuel myself last night, buddy. Would have worked for me if I hadn't got, had that contact and got spun. But I had to fuel save. I think I pitted on the second safety car, and that would have put me right. I thought I was going to be a lap short. So these guys might be looking at that same thing, and then sometimes a strategy call like that can just put you in a completely different league. It can be risky though.
I just noticed something what Daniel Fritz is doing while he's actually driving the safety car. This is, again, a little bit of inside baseball for everyone at home. So he's currently driving the M3 GT3 car as the safety car. That car does not have flashing lights normally. You have to actually hold down your flash button to make it do that. So he's currently lapping the whole track with his finger pressed on the button to make the headlights flash on that GT3 car that we use as the safety car in the series. So it's
probably set up a macro to do it, maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, quite possibly. Could even have a switch that does it, maybe. But it's a toggle switch, so it actually, you have to keep on pressing it to make it. You can hold it down, and it will actually do it.
I think that looks a bit too regular. So, but yeah. But well, it's going to be a cracker though. Look, we are 6 minutes into this race, 7 minutes into this race already. Everyone, calm down, take a breath. But safety car coming in this lap, so he will be about to stretch from the field, I would think.
I would say on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's, he will stretch the legs and let them go down the Hamilton straight.
So, the first of our people that have pitted at the moment is Nathan Gardner. Only 4 seconds, 4.7 in the pits, so no tyres. So Matty Jones and Nick Ryan, I think, have they made it on the lead lap? I don't know.
No, they're not. They're currently on the third lap, so they're a lap down on the field.
They are a lap down on the field, so yeah. Unfortunately, that makes. You would have got me if you hadn't hit the wall, Joe. Oh yeah. These things happen, buddy. But yeah, look, it's been some awesome racing, massive field. We love seeing big fields. I know we had a big field last night for the V8 Amateur Series. 31 cars here tonight. I think we've got 30 something registered for Sunday for the Pro Am as well. I know that was it roulette racing tomorrow night, is it?
Yes, it is roulette racing tomorrow night.
Yep.
So it's one of 7 possible cars.
Yep.
So it is a random car that is announced before the
All
race.
Right. How's Craig going to play it? He was going to go then, but then he thought about it and he held it.
Yep.
So he's going to hold him away here.
Jay's going to want to try and catch as best he can. He's going to hold him on the exit of the corner. They're ready to go racing again.
Yeah, Jay read that beautifully, and he's putting himself in a prime position here to make a move on Craig. Craig's done well, though. He recovered well.
So they'll come round into... Oh, you can see a move there and behind. I think it might be Phil Vella trying to get it done on Cameron O'Brien. We saw Cameron have the moment on the first lap.
Pocock just got caught on the outside there, I think, a bit, by the looks of it. Is that Andrew Lydon going up the inside of him there?
That's is that Matty Jones out of position? It is.
Yeah, it is Matty Jones out of position. You are right. I do apologise. Thought that car looked a little strange, but he's quick. Is he trying to get through and unlap himself?
I think that's what
as
the
quick
plan
as
is
he
at
possibly
the moment.
can.
Because if he can get himself unlapped and we get a safety car, well, he'll be right at the back of the field once again. Yep. But he'll be on the lead lap at least. Steve Singovich has had a moment. We'll quickly bring it up on screen. Let's see what's happened to him here. So, he just wiggled a little bit and then spun it around.
Cold tyres, the rear is just not quite there, and you carry a little bit too much speed. Nice battle there at the background. I think that was Scott Pocock right on the back of Andrew Lydon. I know it's Matty Jones right on the back, I apologise. And it's that Michael Cartajar now right on the back of Scott Pocock.
Yep, Michael Cartajar, look at him here. He's trying to go for a move down the straight. Can he get it done at the top of the hill? You see Matty there trying to get himself unlapped just ahead as well. It's almost a picture perfect. And look at Darren Fahey here just trying to follow Cartajar down the inside.
Race 1 winner, and definitely showing his pace. Who's that going into the pits there?
Doug Gowan's going into the pits just then. So,
all right. So there's been a tow. Someone's had a tow there.
No, but it's because it was someone else who had a tow because Doug drove in.
I think it was Callan. I think it might be Callan Hodgkinson. So something happened to Callan back there. No, he's pitted.
Yeah.
He left the pit, Stevens. Yeah, I just heard someone request a tow on the radio.
Unsure. But Jay Dixon has officially gotten back past Craig Platter. So just so everyone is aware of what the timing thing or what the display means at the top of the screen. So the AM is the current leader of that class. So it is now Cameron O'Brien who's now taken the lead from Craig Platter for the lead of amateurs, and Jay leading the pro class as well.
Cameron with a nice move there on Craig Platter, so maybe Craig just I think the tyres should be up to temp now, so he's run wide there. You be careful, there is a slowdown if you go out too wide there. At the moment, Phil Vella really applying some pressure on Craig, and I think maybe Craig just got caught offline a couple of times there, and we know that you have a little half moment in these cars and the tyres overheat, and then for the next 3 or 4 corners the tyres are hot and they're a bit slippery, so it's something you've got to be aware of. And yeah, Joe, I agree, awesome numbers. Phil making a move up the inside of Craig there as well. That's Scott Pocock, Andrew Lydon, and Darren Fahey all battling hard as well on there. So remember, these guys are all front runners, finding themselves sort of, behind a couple of the AM drivers at the moment that have, did really well in race 1, got themselves up the front for the reverse grid and are holding their own.
Mate, these guys are not wanting to give up any positions. I mean, even though there's racing in between classes right now, it is all about official positions, and it is all about just trying to get as far up the field as you can. As most
Phil went a little
is.
bit deep there. Was that... Sorry, who was that went a bit deep there? And I thought it was Phil Vella, yeah, making a move on Cameron Bryan. That's what I thought I saw it in the bottom of screen, and Cameron Bryan under a bit of pressure for Craig Platter as well, buddy.
Well, mate, everyone is just trying to get everything they can. They're darting each there and everywhere.
He deep under brakes there. Can Scott Pocock go around the outside? Darren did well to hold that up, but you can see there, he tried his hardest to fight that off, but just lack of momentum has now put him under the pump, and it looks like Adam Simpson, he's lining up to have a go as well, and Darren Fahey, Adrian Loretti's teammate starting to catch on him now. So has Darren picked up a bit of damage out of that?
Unsure. I mean, we'll try and see if we can get a better view of the car.
Darren pit? I'm wondering, is there a fuel save? No, Darren didn't pit, so he's not saving fuel or anything. So maybe just might have been one of those moments I talked about, buddy. You overcooked the tyres for the next few corners. You're struggling a bit.
Doesn't appear the car in behind Adrian's that we're focusing on at the moment. Doesn't appear that he actually has any damage on the car right now. Also as well, it is now a 1-2 for Downforce Racing. Jay Dixon leads his teammate Phil Vella at the front of the field right now. And these guys, well, they're going to want to do what Kittens did for the majority of last season at least. And just, lead from the front, work together to build that gap. But Cameron O'Brien and Michael Cuttajar does not want to let them roll away with this.
Well, at the moment, Jay has a 2.2 second lead over his teammate, but I think, as you said, it's Michael Cuttajar. He's the one P4 at the moment, the first. Oh no, contact there. Chris Swadling caught up in that. Who was involved in that? It was Danny Matisic there.
It was Adam Simpson.
Adam Simpson caught up in that. At this moment, he's got that car going again. It's crabbing, and he's got a fair way to get back here. He didn't see the car behind him. Greg, that was Steven Sinkovic going through then, I think. Whew.
Yeah, I believe it was, or it might have been Grandpa Doug. Yeah, I think it was Doug Gowans actually.
Yeah.
For Velocity Sim Lab. So.
All right. Well, fair bit going on. A couple of the drivers maybe calling out about blue flags. I think I saw that a bit earlier. When you've got a fast guy in the mix there that's trying to get his lap back, it can create a bit of issues going on. At the moment, Adrian Loretti, our big mover of the night, he's up 20 positions. Really should have won race number 1 with an unfortunate computer disconnect. And now he is up into P8 and 20 positions on the track. Wow.
Well, mate, he is on the move right now. He wants to try and etch closer and closer to the front of the pack. He had the pace in race 1. I mean, he got the lead of the race after the big accident that happened at turn 1 and turn 2. And then, unfortunately, his PC just kind of giving him the rough shoulder and forcing him to the back of the grid. But he is currently on a mammoth amount of pace right now. Fastest lap of the race actually is Jay Dixon with a 152.40. His teammate in last lap did a 52.41. So those guys are rapid. They are super rapid right now, and they want to be able to run away with this.
All right. Well, Adrian Loretti, Darren Fahey, these guys are known to work together as a team where needed. But they will also battle each other when it comes down to it. So I'm sure you might see if Adrian gets half a chance to make a move on Scott here, I wouldn't be surprised to see him hold the door open a little for Darren behind him.
Well, they're all going to be able to want to work together here. I mean, they're going to come onto, they're on the back of Scott Pocock at the moment. Both these guys in behind him are pro drivers. Adrian here just kind of swerving a little bit, just wants to try and put the pressure on Scott, maybe force a mistake. So it'll be interesting to see when he can get it done. I doubt it's going to be through Maggots and Beckett's, but it
Well,
could
he
very
took
well be at the
advantage-
top of the hill.
He took advantage of the off track there, Adrian did, to maintain speed. So he definitely wants to try and get past Scott. He's pushing hard.
He wants to. I mean, top three now in this race are all pro drivers. I mean, Dixon, Vella, and Cuttajar. They are the top three right now on the podium. So he wants to be able to, push ahead and try and get onto the back of those guys. Although he has got 7.4 seconds to gain on P1 in Jay Dixon. So he's going to have to lap about a second faster than Jay every single lap now if he wants to hope to close that gap in time to really put the pressure on them at the end of this race here, Cowie.
Look, it's going to be interesting because, the problem is that, you're back here. Already Adrian is about 7 seconds or so behind the leader. So, I think that's a request to tow. So something's happened out there. Jason Chin, was it?
I'm unsure, but...
Yep, safety car has called. Something's happened to Jason Chin for Fishy Motorsports. So let's have a look here.
So Bruce White was involved in an incident here. Oh my God.
What's happened? And then Bruce and Jason have ended up in a massive tangle. I saw, who was that on the inside? Was it Kevin on the inside at that time, I think?
I think it was, yeah. So it was
Yeah,
Bruce
so
White
Kevin
who's ended up
Wakefield.
on the wall. Actually, was it Kevin or what? No, it wasn't Kevin. I think it might have been Nathan Gardner.
Okay. Yep, there.
Yeah.
Did have a look like that. So that was a massive moment there. What's happened here? Is this Andrew Lyden? No, we're back live, are we?
Yeah, we are. So we are awaiting to get onto the back of the safety car. But what this does now is, Cowie, I mean, we spoke about the gap that Loretti had to gain to the leaders. The gap's now 12.4 seconds. But that gap's going to go to nothing now because they're going to be behind a safety car.
Everyone's going to pit because we're halfway through the race and
Yeah.
these guys should be able to get home from here. So you're going to see everyone pit that hasn't already pitted.
Here comes Jay.
So the issue is going to be, we saw here, these guys maintained their pace, right?
Yep.
All of these guys know that they've got to try and get in the pits, get out before the rest of the field comes through. One of the things that can happen when a safety car gets called is the field just lift off and slow down. And you can see that, if you're out in front and that happens, you might be able to get this pit stop done, get back out in front of the field. So let's keep an eye out. Who's the first of our cars out on the field? I think it's Nathan Gardner.
Yep, Jay will still slip out in the lead of this race.
So Nathan came in as well. So it looks like almost the entire field is coming into the pits. So maybe those guys that did pit a bit earlier still wouldn't have had enough to get home. So everyone coming in now. Who's left out there? Steven Sinkovic hasn't come in the pit yet, has he?
No, I don't believe so. Kind of wish I said there was going to be 3 safety cars now.
Matty Jones on the radio just asking about a wave around. Got to be careful about that, Matty. Race control doesn't actually look at what doesn't like you asking to get your lap back. But they are, as I said, just going to get the field under control first before they let those guys get their laps back. So that will be a good sign for Matty Jones. Nick Ryan, I think, are the two that are probably going to benefit from this the most.
Apparently, Matty Jones had an incident.
Oh, they just ask him when he had that incident. Well, that caused the previous safety car.
Okay.
And Baked Beans looking to see if he can have a look at it. I think he just lost the rear from my recollection. Just the rear of the car went round and he got caught right in the middle. Trying to find it. It was a fair way back, buddy, because it was... Yeah, so he just lost the rear there, and you can see, a passenger, and unfortunately, someone clipped him there, and once that happened, that flipped his car. So, will be the beneficiary of the new safety car coming out. It should give him a chance to get back on the lead lap, both him and Nick Ryan.
Yeah, if they're able to get the wave around, then they should be back on the lead lap. Although Matty is, yeah, he's still a lap down, so.
I think Nick Ryan's directly behind him on track there as well, so both of those guys will be looking for the wave around.
Yeah, for sure. So those guys will be hoping for their wave around here. Yeah, obviously, our promo department safety car out on track. We're now past the halfway point of this race. I doubt we're going to make 23 laps in the allotted 7 or 16 minutes that are left in this race. You would say if we didn't have any safety cars, then we probably would have made it there. But this is now really going to bunch us up. I'd say we're now probably only going to get about maybe 18, 19 laps, Cowie. I mean, would you think that's pretty conservative?
We'll lose a few, and with race control just taking a whole lap to get the field under control. I was still waiting to see the wave around, so so there will be at least another lap under the safety car. So that's going to bring it, down to maybe 14 minutes of this race left.
So one of the drivers just hopped into the pits there.
I think that might have been Nick Ryan, was it? Yeah, I think it was
Nick
Ryan going into the pits. So that is an interesting call.
Yeah, maybe he's just deciding to go to the actual back of the field instead of actually getting the wave around.
Alright, so now Matty Jones gets his wave around. Nick should have probably stayed there. He might have got the wave around with that as well.
This is really going to affect his race now, because now he's going to be a lap down on his main opponent for that position of P26. Like, he's not really going to be in the hunt now unless he gets another safety car to get the wave around again. Then he's not.
One more for my prediction, buddy. One more for my prediction.
No, two more. We're at two. Oh no, we're at three. We're at
three. We're at three. We need two more for yours. You're starting to run out of time.
I am, just a little bit.
You've been conservative and called three, but you might have been right on the money.
I was going to be ultra conservative and say two, but
that would have caught you out.
Oh yeah, it really would have.
There has been some awesome racing here. Awesome to have Shannons on board as our major sponsor. Warren and Brown Tools are our round sponsor. Of course, the promo to safety department car is out there at the moment, getting its airtime. We'll also have the fastest lap and qualifying award for racecraft, so that will go to, I think it was it Darren Fahey that took it out?
I believe it was Darren.
I took it out, so he will be the fastest lap and qualifying winner for racecraft there. But the tenting suites to come as well as our driver of the night. At the moment, mate, I'm thinking Adrian Loretti's coming into the fore for me.
Yep.
But as you said, Phil Bella, Jay Dixon, having a great race as well.
And sorry, just to correct you for a moment, Cow, but David Gallo actually got pole position for the
David
race.
Gallo, apologise.
Because he was part of that turn one incident with Daniel Byrne, I think it was. So, yeah. So
how's David going in this race at the moment? He's up 22 positions in P8 at the moment, so he's recovering nicely as well. Managed to stay out of the mess. So other sponsors there to give a shout out to: Grim Industries, Rare Spares, Sim Rigs, and of course our Racecraft, Warren and Brown Tools, and Shannons, our major sponsor. All right, buddy, we're getting down to 13 minutes to go. Just listening on the radio, I'm not sure if the safety car is going to come in this lap or we're going to do one more, but it's going to turn this feature race into a sprint finish.
It really will, and I think now, if this safety car stays out for another lap, I would argue there's probably not going to be another opportunity for another safety car. I mean, they'll get within 10 minutes and they'll probably say, oh, you know what, we've just had one, we might just let them race. It is up to race control's discretion, obviously, if they want to have one or not. We definitely won't have one if there's 5 minutes left, but it's always a bit of a, you're always on the fence,
He's pulling away. He's going to be pulling away, handing control over to the field now. So this will be interesting to see how the Downforce boys play it. I know Phil, he'll be reluctant to take the win away from Jay. But it'll be interesting to see if these guys battle. But the thing is, they've got Michael Cuttajar behind, and I think if Phil, he may well run shotgun, and we can see here he just dropping back a little bit at the moment, maybe creating a little bit of buffer for his teammate.
Could very well be doing that, Cowie. He could be. This could be the tactic right now. Just keep Michael back and let Jay have a nice run through the exit of the final corner. Sorry for the blipping in and out here, ladies and gentlemen. But we are getting ready to go racing once again.
He's gone, and he's got a nice little gap there. Phil Vella playing the team role there, but he got a good jump too. So those boys on the comms planned it and executed it by the looks of it. So at the moment it is Downforce Racing, Jay Dixon and Phil Vella, P1 and 2. Michael Cuttajar with a great drive. He's up 9 spots and up into P.
Andrew Lydon up into P4 at the moment, Cowie. So
have we had a moment?
Yeah, Tyler Sheep has gone off track.
So has Matt Tessiero as well. Of course, Matt, let us know if we're saying your name wrong. It only took me about 3 seasons to get Danny's name right, so I'll happily butcher it. Oh, more moments getting called out on the radio. Matt, oh, that was Matt, so he just had a hunk of grass. Is that car broken? He's got it going.
That steering rack looks broken.
Or it doesn't look like it's going to turn though, does it?
No. That does not look very healthy at all.
No word from race control at the moment on safety car. Look at that, they're 3-4 wide back here. There's 3 kittens involved in that in the back screen. Keep going back this battle. I think it's Darren Fahey, David Gallo, Daniel Byrne, all in amongst. I just look at the 3-4. They're jostling everywhere. Right in the middle of it.
We got a comment here from Sam. Please don't attempt my name. Sam Catacuzinos, I'm going to say. Catacuzinos. Drive-through penalty for car 222 for contact with car 35 on lap 8.
Chris Swadling there. Yep.
So that'll be, that'll pretty much put an end to his race, unfortunately for... that'll be for Adam Simpson, actually, sorry. It was car 222, so Adam Simpson will get a drive-through, so he will unfortunately be out of contention for any good position here in this one, but...
Daniel Byrne lining up Craig Platter there behind. See how Craig goes. He's going defensive. Up front here, and it's Jay Dixon and Phil Vella pushing hard. They have got a hungry Michael Cuttajar behind them. I'm sure Michael still hasn't sorted a microphone, so he does make it onto the podium. I don't know if we'll get to chat to him. But yes, Sam, I'll stick with your first name, buddy. No, let me know. If I'm gonna butcher it, I might as well butcher it in style. All right, so the battle up front. I'm not seeing any yellow sectors back through the field, or is it Adam Simpson and Craig Platter battling hard for P12 and 13? But it's this battle up front that's close. We've got a moment here, everybody.
Adam Simpson, you mentioned his name.
Oh, that is... Oh, no. That is pretty unlucky there from Adam. And I don't know who that was alongside him at the time. That was Cameron.
Yeah, I think... no, it wasn't Cameron O'Brien. I think it might have been... Oh, who had that car? I think it's Craig Platter.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, my God. That is phenomenal. Cameron O'Brien's had to jump to pits as well, so... Are we within 5 minutes?
It might have been Cameron O'Brien that ran into the rear of him then. So I don't know what happened there. But he's gone straight to the pit and no call of safety car.
Yeah, I'd say because
Adam Simpson was also given a black flag for that contact on lap 8 as well. And now with a damaged car...
I'd say that's definitely race over for him.
Well, it'll instead of it being a drive-through, it'll be a 50-second hole.
Yeah, and I think
so that will end his race.
I think since by the time they get the safety car out, it's going to be 5 minutes till the end. So they're probably not even going to bother actually having the safety car.
Well, no, the rule. If it's outside 5 minutes, it still can happen. If it's inside 5, that's the rule. So if it happens at 6 minutes, I know if Joe had binned it a minute earlier last night, we might have got a safety car and a chance to get back in it.
Well, Jay Dixon leads the way to Phil Vella, his teammate Michael Cuttajar in P3. Adrian Loretti now finds himself up into P4, but he's not quite close enough to Michael.
Michael's pushing hard here. He's putting some pressure on Phil. who's having to, drive a couple of defensive lines there that last lap. And look at them, we've got 5 kittens. So it's a absolute pack of kittens, and they're not the furry, fluffy kind. Normally if you'd see 5 kittens together, it'd just about make anyone really gooey, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
But not on an F3 racetrack here at Silverstone.
No, definitely not. You don't drive-through penalty for car 087 for the restart procedure. So that is 067. Sorry, so that's Steven Sinkovic. So not a good end to his race.
I'd say he's overtaken someone before the line.
Yep, for sure.
Michael Carter looking to make a move up the inside of Phil Vella. It was an aggressive line he took coming through off the hanger straight, but Phil has closed the door nicely on him there. Though we see time and time again, the moment you start battling with the car in front, brings the car behind into the hunt, and Adrian Loretti, who is up 24 positions tonight, now battling for the last podium position.
He's not quite close enough at the moment just to really put the challenge in on Michael. There is about 5.5 minutes left of this race. So if Adrian wants to really put the pressure on him, he needs to get closer and just really put that pressure on him and try and force a mistake. Michael, though, is one that does not make mistakes that often. Although in saying that, we did see one at the start of the race last time out in the first race here tonight. But
it's so close at this, but these guys are pushing so hard every lap. The car's within an inch of losing it. So when you're driving it that hard, the chances there. And I note that Matty Jones was given a black flag for a incident under the safety car. So I think maybe that was at the restart that happened there. And I did hear a comment saying that there's not much you can do when the field's bunched up like that. So unfortunately, that's ruined his race. Did get a chance to get back on the lead lap and fight it out. Unfortunately, that comes to an end. But this is not coming to an end, buddy. Michael Cuttajar putting the heat back on Phil Vella, and Adrian Loretti just trying to position himself in a spot where he can take advantage of any shenanigans up in front.
Drive-through penalty for car number 26 after contact with car 22 on lap 9. So that is going to Jason Chin. So we saw the moment earlier that caused the last safety car. So he now gets a drive-through penalty for tonight's race. So
unfortunate, but it's probably one of those things that if they had both survived, it's a racing incident. But because a couple of cars get taken out, unfortunately, you're going to wear the penalty. All right, Michael Cuttajar is pushing hard, and you can see just couple of the different ways these guys are attacking it and taking those sort of faster lines. You do get that concertina effect in play, where they squeeze up under braking and they stretch out under acceleration. But Brendan Stoper caught up in the middle of something, so that's car 27's had a moment just on the radio.
I haven't got anything on my end.
I think it was Luke Johnson had contact with him, and I think Luke might have come into the pits to repair the front car. You are exactly right, Sam. No more safety car. We are 3 minutes to go of this motor race, so time is flying. And it looks like we were both wrong tonight, buddy. Oh, that car got big badly.
Yeah, there it is. Brendan Sopar, so he's missing his rear wing, unfortunately.
There's been contact there, but this is where the battle is here. Jay Dixon, at the moment, it's his teammate holding off a rampant Michael Cuttajar, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cats, kittens. They're not the furry kind. And the rest of the boys just staying off the back and saying to Adrian, well, this is your man. They're fighting amongst them. We'll hold everyone else off.
So Cuttajar trying to chase down Vella. We're going to cross the line with about 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go. So I'd say this will be the final lap of the race, Cowie.
Keep an eye. We see Barney is why I couldn't see a flag getting waved there, so maybe.
I think we're going to get 2 more laps.
Yeah, we might get an extra one.
So Daniel Byrne, driver 808, up 7 spots in this race in P8 so far. Darren Fahey finds himself up into P7, the race winner of the sprint race here tonight earlier. David Gallo's up 24 spots into P6. Andrew Lydon is in P5 at the moment. And then Adrian Loretti up 24 spots into P4. These kittens are rampant, and they want to be able to try and chase down Michael Cuttajar.
Michael Cuttajar, he's getting close. He's really trying multiple modes of attack here on Phil. And at the moment, Phil's just sticking to the racing line, not doing anything drastic. And Michael's starting to run out of time. There's a moment here, Chris Swadling just losing the rear of the car. Is he saved it?
I think he has, luckily enough.
No, and then the grass, just a little loop with the grass, but he's managed to keep it out of damage. And Sam saying, are they the shaven kind? Oh, so
I reckon they're all different breeds. Surely.
not Siamese.
No, I reckon, man, there might be one Siamese kitten out there, but
Siamese and a Burmese, yeah.
You know, domestic grey and the ginger cat and
the feral tabby. Who's the feral tabby? Is that Adrian Loretti? David Gallo? I'm sure David be a bit feral with what happened to him in race number 1 tonight, but he has still having an awesome drive back to P6 at the moment. But Michael Cuttajar, he is continuing this pressure on Phil Vella, who is just, soaking it up. And I'd say that this is the final lap of the motor race. No checkered flags coming out. So this will be the final race. And Michael Cuttajar, final attempt. Look at him throwing it. Is this a big deep dive? Phil covers the inside. So he's driving defensive here, Phil. And look at the rear of the car sliding out. So these guys are pushing the tyres to 110% to use a, I call it a cliche, I suppose. We always go at 110%.
These guys are pushing all the way to the end of this race here tonight. Cuttajar wants to put the pressure on Vella. He's not really pressured in behind by Loretti at the moment. He's got about half a second back. So
only about half a lap to do it at the moment too. Adrian Loretti behind him is closing in as well. This battle for P2, P3, P4. It's close. Phil Vella getting a nice launch out there and a good run through Cops.
As they come up to Maggots and Beckett's now, you see the run through the left, the right, back to the left again. And they come round the final right,
see
left.
Michael straighten that up, trying to find the fast pace, but Phil up to the task. Is the toe strong enough? We haven't really talked about the toe tonight, so I don't think it's been super effective, but you can see it is enabling Michael to close in, but not close enough. Only a couple of corners left to go for the finale of tonight's racing, a sprint format tonight. Race number 1, 20-minute heat, 40-minute feature race, and the final corner, and it will be Jay Dixon for Downforce Racing taking out the feature race here for round 1 for our Shannons F3 National Series. His teammate Phil Vella with a great rear guard drive there, hanging on to P2 ahead of Michael Cuttajar. Adrian Loretti, 24 positions up to P4. An awesome drive. Andrew Lydon holding his own for P5 finish, a great finish for him. And David Gallo also up 24 positions for P6. So we will have to decide on our Tempting Sweets driver of the night. Tyler Sheep here struggling with no front wing to bring it home there, and Chris Swadling with no rear wing. So let's just look at the whole spectrum of damage here. These guys.
You put the two cars together.
Well, they brought it home.
A full car, so.
Real indeed, Sam. The kittens were flying, but it is Downforce Racing with a 1-2 punch. Jay, P10 in race number 1. Phil, P2 in race number 1. And now P1 for Jay and P2 for Phil. So I think
I'd say Phil gets driver of the day.
Well, he's got the points haul for the night.
Yeah.
But is that the driver of the day? I mean, I thought he had a great race, and that was some great defending there. Michael Carter had an awesome recovery as well, because remember, he had to fight his way back from the back of the field in race number one.
I would say
So,
Loretti should actually get it tonight. He had to pick his way through the back of the field to get to P4. He was leading and probably would have won the sprint race if his PC didn't actually disconnect him. So I'd say that Adrian gets a bit of a consolation and, wins that one tonight, I think.
I think so, and I will just go and shout out to the boys just to tell Adrian to join us in the green room. So I'll be back in a moment, buddy.
No worries. So we'll bring up our race results for tonight's race here. You can see there, Jay Dixon takes out victory over his teammate Phil Vella and Michael Cuttajar, making up the bottom of the podium there in P3. Adrian Loretti, our Tempting Sweets driver of the night, finishes out of P4 for our feature race, with Andrew Lydon taking out P1 in the amateurs, P5 overall here tonight for tonight's race. David Gallo will finish out of P6 ahead of Darren Fahey, Daniel Byrne as well out of P8, and then Scott Pocock finishing out of P9. Doug Gowns will make up the bottom of the top 10 there, just ahead of Brad Hudson in P11, with Craig Platter finishing out of P12. Nathan Gardner finishes tonight's race at a P13, just ahead of Danny Matisic in P14, with Matt Jones coming home in P15 there. So a nice little recovery from him after that massive incident that caused the first safety car of our feature race. Wayne Edwards will finish at a P16 ahead of Greg Johnston in P17, with Tyler Sheaf coming home in P18 there. Chris Swadling will finish at a P19, just ahead of Steven Singovich out of P20. And then we have Kevin Wakefield, Matt Tessariero, Jason Chin, Brendan Sopar, Luke Johnson, Adam Simpson, Cameron O'Brien, Nick Ryan, Bruce White, Callan Hodgkinson, making up the rear of the grid here tonight for tonight's race. And then Daniel Fritz, our safety car driver. He should not be in the amateur class though, but I can change that for next time out. Here are your pro results for tonight. Dixon, Vella, Cuttajar, Loretti, Gallo, Fahey, Byrne, Gowans, Jones, and Swadling. And then over to our amateurs, we have got... we're too low there on that one. We have got Lydon, Pocock, Hudson, Platter, Gardner, Matisic, Edwards, Johnston, Sheaf, and Singovich in the top 10. And then Wakefield, Tessariero, Chin, Sopar, Johnson, Simpson, O'Brien, Ryan, White, Hodgkinson, making up the rest of that grid there here tonight.
All right, buddy. So it looks like we've got our P1, P2, and our P4 driver of the day in the green room. So let's bring Adrian down first, I think.
Yep.
So Adrian Loretti for Kittens Racing, buddy. What happened? The computer shut itself.
Yeah, spewing with that.
Oh no.
Yeah, just went to turn left, and then iRacing went white, and my wheel just started spinning uncontrollably.
Oh,
so
no.
anyway, I had to Alt F4 out of it, and then start it back up, and yeah, straight to the back.
Well, mate, back to P4, and you had a chance there at P3 at the end of that race, buddy. Talk us through it, man. It must have been a belter with all of that stuff going on around you.
Oh, it was epic. I don't know if you guys caught the accidents I somehow weaved my way through, but there were two massive accidents that I reckon I gained 10 positions in a few seconds. I had pace here, so I was gutted after the first race. But yeah, and I was pulling the Cuttajar in slowly, but he was in Vella's toe, and I just couldn't get close enough.
Well, mate, at the end there, we saw... Oh, sorry, go, Hamish.
No, I was just going to say, well, I guess a nice consolation of the disappointment of race one is you are our Tempting Sweets driver of the night because, realistically, if you hadn't have actually dropped out, you likely would have won the sprint race. And then, to come back and, pick your way through the field in race two to get up into the top 5 shows you had real pace about you when you were ready to put the challenge in on the top 3 at the end of that race.
Well, that was the plan. So, very happy with that. And then, to look behind and see another 3 kittens in a row.
Yeah, well, I thought you had a kitten rear guard there, buddy. So the claws were out. But, poor Dave Gallo with a cracker quality lap.
He killed it. Yeah, he was quick.
And just got caught up in it. And, look, a great recovery from him too, I think. But both of you up 24 positions in that second race. But yeah, look, he had a belter. And what was the racing like, man? I mean, there's a few new faces out there. It's a pretty big spit of sort of speed across the field. But pretty respectful for the most part, buddy.
Yeah, no, I think it was okay. Obviously, I saw both ends, so it was a bit. Yeah, he just had to be careful at the back. So obviously, the slower guys do break a lot earlier, so be aware of that. Get around, and it shows. Get to the back.
Well, man, look, it's a strong pro field up front there, buddy. If you faces back, Phil Vella back, and Matty Jones back, it's it's getting hard for you kittens to get your names on the podium, man.
It's getting bloody hard. But no, it's good to be towards the front.
Well, very
Why?
good, mate. Fantastic, isn't it, Cowie? I mean, the
Oh.
the driving, the racecraft that you showed tonight, and even in last season as well, it's all paying off for you. And I think you're going to be able to put in a real challenge this season if your PC number one can withstand actually being in a race with 30 drivers, and also if you can actually bring the fight to those top guys as well. I think it's going to be a fantastic season, regardless, though.
Well, it's never crashed like that, so I don't know. I don't know what that was, but anyway.
I'm going to turn down the motion.
Yeah, it's probably shaking it too much. I don't know.
Well, buddy, well done. Congratulations. You are our tempting sweets driver of the night. P4. I was always probably going to bring you in anyway, seeing Michael Carter still doesn't have a mic by the looks of it. But no, well done, buddy, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right, buddy. I think we bring both the Downforce boys in together here. Jay Dixon, Phil Vella, P1 in the feature tonight. Jay, P2 and P2 for you, Phil. Firstly, Phil, welcome back, buddy. Did you enjoy the break?
Yeah, it was good. Cheers. It's good to be back.
And how was the racing there, buddy? Because there's some quick guys out there looking at those times in quali, and they were separated by hundreds.
Yeah, it was the quality pace caught me by surprise, actually. I think I qualified out towards 10th or something, to be honest. I was a little bit fortunate for the incident at the start there that took a few of the guys out of play to start off with. But yeah, I just couldn't get Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel right, both the name and the line through there.
Oh,
Well, we
was-
just thought you were running rear guard for Jay there, so
Yeah.
you tell us you're struggling instead.
No, he just had the pace on me tonight.
Well,
Oh,
Jay,
Thanks, Joe.
how's it feel for the previous series champion comes in and you whip him in the first race, buddy? Well done.
Oh yeah, it's a good feeling getting the win done. No, Phil definitely had a couple of opportunities to pass me then and didn't take it. So I had the pace on him a few laps, but he definitely could have sent it pretty hard if he wanted to.
Well,
Oh,
it
well.
certainly worked out for you, buddy. You talked about, starting at the front and keeping clear of the mess. There was a fair bit of it behind you, but looked like good fun racing. And at the end there, you weren't worried about Phil making a move on you, or
I was a little bit. I told him to go past. I completely screwed up turn 3 at one point, and he got a real good run on me. And I said, "Go take it." And he goes, "No, all good. I'll settle in behind." And then I kind of wound the pace back up a little bit, so I don't feel too guilty about it. But yeah, he definitely had some opportunities.
Well, I mean, it couldn't have been a more perfect race for your team, and I mean, a 1-2 finish. I mean, Phil getting, I think it was a double podium tonight for you, Phil. I mean, that's probably going to be a perfect start to Downforce Racing's F3 season for our Shannons National Series. Can we hope that you guys are going to be able to show up majority of rounds so we can see some great racing from both of you throughout the rest of the season?
Oh yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Oh, very good, boys. Well, massive congratulations to both of you on your P1 and your P2. I guess if there's anyone that you guys want to give a shout out to or let us know who's supporting not only Downforce Racing, but both of you as well in your personal lives, then you guys can do so.
Yeah, big thanks to our spotter tonight, Monty. Thanks for hanging out in voice chat and keeping us company. And thanks to Phil's wife for making the time so that he can come race.
Yeah, big thanks to the team at Downforce Racing. Big thanks to Jay, just getting us organised, getting us ready, and having the right strategy in place. a big thank you to the Red Rocket guys who we're in Discord with, as well as the a shout out to the Kittens folk. They had that awesome pace tonight, and you know, Darren in race 1 was just untouchable. Adrian was really unlucky. I think he yeah, you could have had a great result there if it wasn't for the National Broadband Network. But yeah, and a big thanks to my wife Monica for helping support me and making the time for this.
Very good, boys. Well, thanks for coming to have a chat to us. Massive congratulations on your 1-2 finish here tonight, and best of luck for the rest of the season, because this season already looks to be an absolute cracker, and I think it's only going to get better from here.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, boys.
Well, Hamish, what a cracker of a night, buddy.
What
It
a
started
race.
with an explosion.
And then it kind of ended in a couple of little explosions towards the end there, Kelly.
Mate, just great battles on track. You know, the boys pushing hard, driving hard. We had some great results there. We well, once the AMs are all confirmed, then we will start bringing the AM guys in for their interviews at the end of the race. Probably a little bit hard for race number 1, but already Hamish is on top of the AM classifications you saw with the timing there. So, you know, hopefully moving forward, we will get all of that under the control, and the boys can come in and let us know how that mid-pack racing is going too.
Yeah, hopefully they can come in here and have a chat to us. We will give them probably till about 10 to 10 to hop in here and have a chat. But while we wait for that, actually, Cowie, I think we might as well give out a little surprise that will now be a regular feature every Wednesday night at the end of the broadcast. It has got to do with our Thursday night racing as well. It is going to be our official roulette spin for the racing, for the cars that the drivers will have to race in on the Thursday nights for our roulette series. The car options that are available on this wheel is an SR8 Radical, Toyota GR86s, Mazda MX-5s, the Legacy Supercars from 2014, the Legacy Ferrari 488 GT3 car, and the BMW M3, and also the TCRs as well. So the TCRs aren't completely gone, but they may randomly show up on a Thursday night, depending on how the wheel spin actually goes. So we'll give the wheel a spin, we'll see what comes up and what the boys are going to be racing tomorrow night. But we'll let it go and we'll see what happens here. So they will be racing in the Legacy Supercars tomorrow night for the Thursday Night Roulette Series, brought to you by Warren and Brown. I mean, I am looking forward to watching that, Cowie. I love the Legacy Supercars. I actually prefer them over the old ones, specifically because of the tyre model and the handling. But it is going to be an absolute cracker tomorrow night to see what these boys can bring.
Well, they're closer to a GT car driving those things, so it will be seeing some people throwing them around the track.
Just to,
But look, I was going to say, I don't think we're going to get the AM guys, because they would have already been here. Race control normally would let them know. So I think, you know, given the fact that it's round 1, you're probably going to see race controllers saying, okay, we've nominally put you in amateurs, but you might be too quick. So we're going to give you a round or two just to have an evaluation of you. All right? So
we might just quickly, just for a bit of fun, we might spin the wheel again. We'll see what else might have been for tomorrow night. So we'll do one more spin. We'll see what may have come. The Radicals. So, well, I guess they're going to be racing in the supercar nonetheless. And yeah, I look forward to seeing that, because that is going to be absolutely intense to watch. But yeah.
It's going to be a belter, buddy. Looking forward to it. It's great things happening here at SRW TV. 31 cars out on track tonight. Absolute cracker of an opening round for our F3s here. Guys, that will wrap up our coverage of the Shannons Formula 1 Nationals here on SRW TV. Of course, don't forget to hit that like and follow button on all our socials so you don't miss out on any of the action out on track. Thanks very much for all of your comments there in the racing. Monty Hines, love you lads. Awesome. Thanks, man. As long as we're putting on a good show for you guys, we're going to be happy about it. On behalf of the management and broadcast team here, this is Cowie Average Sim Racer. That is Hamish Munro next to me. Guys, we will say good night and see you next time on SRW TV. Have an awesome one.
To turn 1, this is amazing. Up and clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down to the hill. Sam Noble wants to step on